There is so much MCU news. If you want DCEU news, I released that video first. You can check that out. First, here's the official Eternals poster, and by the way, there are 2 teasers out for the Eternals as of yesterday. Now, make sure you actually get the one that shows a lot of footage of the Eternals and not the one that does like this whole big preamble with Stan Lee and where they've been and where they're now at with the MCU. They also show the hard dates for a lot of their MCU movies coming out this year and next. I'm actually a lot more intrigued now that I've seen the teaser for the Eternals. It was one of those MCU movies where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna see it. But I'm not like losing my mind like I was with Doctor Strange and just watching all the little teasers and promotional photos and just shaking like a goddamn child. Next, Michael Douglas confirmed that Ant-Man 3 will film for a week in July in London. So if you're in London, you may be able to get a sneak peek and then post it on the internet so I can see it. Paul Rudd thinks Catherine, our Agatha Harkness's evil witch cackle was absolutely perfect, and he wants everyone to know that doing an evil witch cackle is actually very, very hard, so we should appreciate it. I do. I love Agatha. I can't wait for her to be back in the MCU. I still bet Mordo is going to sense all the magic. He's going to go there. He's going to free her from what Wanda did to get information, and then she's going to be too powerful for him and escape, and then we have Agatha again. Miss Lily, our Wasp, accidentally confirmed that Yellow Jacket will be in Ant-Man 3. She quickly erased the evidence of what she had done, but moderately excited to see Yellow Jacket back. Kevin Feige confirmed with all the multiverse shenanigans we're getting into now with the MCU that we're going to see a lot of different versions of the characters we've been, I guess, growing up with. Well, that's not true. I was already old when the MCU started. Characters we've known for years in the MCU, we're gonna see different versions of them in the different universes, and he thinks we're just gonna lose our minds. And who could see that coming? In Miss Marvel, Kamala is going to dress up as Captain Marvel for Halloween. Oh no, how shocking. Dave Bautista says he's not worried about actors aging out of the MCU because they have so much comic material, and also he said by the time they don't have any more material, they're just gonna reboot it anyways, which is so very true. Sebastian Stan addressed the romantic rumors between Bucky and Sam, and he said that while as of right now it's more of a family-friendly love, he doesn't know where it will go. He's not in charge of Bucky's sexuality, but at the same time, he said if you want to view Bucky as being bisexual or romantically interested in Sam, it doesn't bother him. You can do whatever you want. He wants the fans to decide how they view his character. I don't really care about Bucky's sexuality. I really don't care in general about people's sexuality as long as it's a consenting adult. So if you're one of those people that want Sam and Bucky to bang, let me know in the comment section down below. By the way, in the club scene where Bucky was pretending to be the Winter Soldier again, Sebastian had actually broken his toe. So while he's being all rugged and stoic in those scenes, he was actually in a shit ton of pain, which makes it even more impressive. Or maybe the pain helps him look more like pissed off, I'll fuck you up. New Asgard will have a big part in tourism for Thor 4, including a ship that has roller coaster harnesses for people to get on and go around New Asgard. I guess they have to make money somehow now that they're displaced and they just have this little town, but an Asgard theme park. I don't know. Tom Hiddleston is officially a producer on his Loki Plus series, and by the way, we were promised, and this is a really big deal, there's gonna be more time travel in the Loki series than there was in Avengers Endgame. Yeah, no fucking shit. A show centered around an agency that uses time travel to keep the timelines intact is gonna have more time travel than Avengers Endgame. Marvel, we're not that stupid. And if you're worried about this, the Thor trilogy still has its integrity for Loki's storyline. They wanted to confirm that it's not messing with those movies at all, but they really wanted to see what Loki would be like without Thor and without being in control. And Tom Hiddleston believes that Loki not having complete control is what makes the Loki series a lot more fun. So I just want to read that quote really quick. That was very exciting because in the other films, there was always something about Loki that was very controlled. He seemed to know exactly what the cards in his hands were and how he was going to play them. And Loki versus the TVA is Loki out of control immediately, and in an environment in which he's completely behind the pace, out of his comfort zone, destabilized, and acting out. I cannot wait to see Loki temper tantrums. You know he's gonna throw him. He's like a spoiled child when he doesn't get his way. For Loki Season 2, Tom Hiddleston said he's down for anything, so cross your fingers for a Season 2. Please give us a Season 2. I haven't seen Season 1, I don't know if it's absolute garbage, but still give us Season 2. The director of the Loki series, Kate Herron, said that they worked really hard to have the monotony of bureaucracy. So if you have ever worked in an office, or if you currently work in an office, this may give you PTSD. So watch this show, maybe with a bottle of tequila. Kevin Bacon said that he wants to be in Guardians of the Galaxy, and James Gunn, if you don't make that happen, you're an absolute monster. It's also very cute how Kevin Bacon found out he was referenced in Guardians of the Galaxy, so I want to share that little tidbit really quick. When I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I went to see it having no idea that I was discussed. It was an afternoon in New York. I was on 67th Street and went by myself, as I often do. I was like, holy shit, they're talking about me. Are you guys getting this? That is the cutest reaction. By the way, he was asked if he would ever be in Guardians of the Galaxy, specifically Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and he said he loves that idea and he would love to. So again, James Gunn, your move. Do you want to be a monster? Alright, for this next segment of Marvel MCU news, I'm going to be talking about what some people may consider social justice warrior topics. I don't think anything too crazy, but I have noticed that seems to trigger quite a few people, so if that's your trigger, like, subscribe, and thanks for coming. You're still my favorite grandchild. Okay, so first, Kevin Feige expressed regret with whitewashing the Ancient One, and here's what he said on that. We thought we were being so smart and so cutting edge. We were not going to do the cliche of the wizened, old, wise Asian man. But it was a wake-up call to say, well, wait a minute. Is there any other way to figure it out? Is there any other way to both not fall into the cliche and cast an Asian actor? And the answer to that, of course, is yes. Honestly, I think they did a great job when it comes to Wong, because he is a manservant in the comics, especially the earlier comics of Doctor Strange. And in the movie, he was basically Doctor Strange's equal and was not taking his shit and wasn't being his servant. So I really like that change. Salma Hayek talked about how impressive it was that she has been cast as a hero in the Eternals, given she is a short Mexican woman. She said, "It never crossed my mind to be in a Marvel movie. I guess that I thought that boat had sailed, and it was an absolute shock. All of a sudden, I got a call. They want to talk to you about a new franchise." And I was like, what? And I said, okay, but they don't tell you any information until you're on the call. It's kind of hard to be an action hero when you're Mexican. It's really hard to be an action hero if you're a Mexican and a woman. But to be an action hero, being Mexican, a woman, and my age, it felt like they were punking me. When people see me, and not just girls, minorities, or even short people, anybody, I want them to think, even if things don't look like they can happen, anything can happen. I do kind of wonder how Marvel is going to deal with aging actors, especially the older ones. So if they have 5 years between each Eternals movie, that's quite a bit, especially with certain actors that are up there. So I'll be interested to see how they deal with that. I mean, even Dave Bautista's talking about, there are some limited years left for me taking my shirt off. This is getting harder and harder as I age. Also, Selma, you should know that we prefer to be called fun-sized, not short. The director of the show touched on the Eternals and how she's so happy about the age range for the movie, sharing, "Ageism in Hollywood is a very concerning issue that we must stand against as artists. Aging is a beautiful part of life that should be celebrated. It's really an honor for us to have Salma to lead the Eternals family, and I can't take all the credit. When executive producer Nate Moore first showed me the treatment, which he worked on with writers, I was impressed with the age diversity of the characters they put together. And it was a big part of what got me really excited about Eternals." I mean, people are absolutely fucking obsessed with youth looking young and gatekeeping things based on age. I get so much shit for being as old as I am and having a YouTube channel. It's hilarious, which is why I love the running joke of being saying I'm elderly and you guys are my grandkids. Even though I am elderly and I do view you guys as my grandkids. So you gotta take people's stupid shit and make from it stupid shit armor. Selma also said the Eternals didn't have diversity for diversity's sake, sharing. I think a lot of people are going to feel seen, and that's important, and that's what matters. It's not diverse for the sake of being diverse. It's the way the director chose every single one of us that really creates a family for the purpose of the Eternals. For the purpose of the film, it doesn't feel forced. I'm actually gonna call bullshit on that because they specifically came out and said that how they cast the Eternals was for diversity, which is why they gender bent and also bent people's background. Maybe she means they picked the best actors for the characters without caring about their skin color or gender. And if that bothers you that they bent some of the Eternals characters, let me know because I've never been really into the Eternals enough to care. So if it bothers you, let me know. Lastly, John Boyega talked high praise about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and how they use diversity, and he thinks they did a great job. Also, he's still super pissed at the sequels and what they did to Finn, which I completely understand. Finn should have been a Jedi. There is your MCU Marvel news. Like, subscribe, come back for more videos.